Picture this. You're on partnership track, your partners have made it clear they want to see you being a good, firm citizen, meaning getting involved in the office initiatives, maybe the social mobility program, maybe the pro bono work, maybe just getting a bit more involved in workplace culture activities. So you say yes. You say yes again and again. And now you're stretched too thin. Your utilisation is suffering. You're working longer hours just to keep up with your chargeable work. And you've got 6 non-chargeable responsibilities when you probably only have a capacity for 2. So how do you have the conversation to drop some of these responsibilities without partners thinking you're selfish or not committed to the firm? Now, this is one of the biggest bear traps for professionals on the partnership track. And today we're going to solve it in this podcast. This is the How to Make Partner podcast with me, Heather Townsend, the author of Poised Partnership and co-author of How to Make Partner and Still Have a Life. In this podcast, I'm going to be highlighting some of the great stuff in our Progress to Partner Academy. New episodes are released weekly, so press subscribe so you never miss a new episode. Right, let's tackle this firm citizenship dilemma. I recently hosted a panel with 3 partners from a large global firm. We had a really frank discussion about this exact tension. And here's what became clear. The partners themselves don't agree on the answer. One partner was very clear. You should be saying yes to everything. Why? Because when you do, it raises your profile, it exposes you to new people, it broadens your skill set. She said if someone came to her and said, I don't want to be on the social committee anymore because I'm busy and I'm going to be a partner and I don't have time for it anymore. A little bit of her would think, not sure I like that. Why? Because the social committee is part of the office. The office is important. If you work well together and throw social events together, the office thrives. That's her perspective as an office managing partner. Her agenda is that she wants you to say yes to everything that will help her office be successful and happy. Now, another partner on the panel who'd made partner in 2 different firms pushed back on this. He said, yes, you should probably start from a position of saying yes more than saying no. But he added something crucial. Some of that stuff might not be the most glamorous or exciting, but it usually pays back longer term, particularly in a smaller office where people have to wear multiple hats. His message, at this stage, you should be saying yes a lot more than you're saying no. And this is important, he wasn't saying yes to everything forever. Then the 3rd partner added the crucial caveat. Once you're a partner, you have much more license to be selective about what stuff you're going to do. But when you're trying to make partner, the ability to take on as much as you can and be a good firm citizen is very important. However, if it's stretching you too much or it's just not tenable, you've got to flag it back because you don't want to be suffering as a result. Okay, 3 different perspectives. So what do you do with those conflicting messages? And here's what I've learned from working with hundreds of professionals on the partnership track. Your partners want you to say yes to everything and maintain high utilisation and not burn out. They want all 3. And they're not going to tell you which one to sacrifice because that would require them to make a difficult decision. So the decision gets pushed down to you. And if you get it wrong, if you say yes to too much and your utilisation drops, or if you say no and look uncommitted, that's on you, not them. That is why so many people on the partnership track end up burnt out. They're trying to do the impossible, please everyone whilst maintaining their sanity. So let me give you the framework that actually works. You need to have a conversation. So if you've taken on too much and you know you've taken on too much because you're either struggling to hit your utilisation targets or you're working unsustainable hours or both, you need to have a conversation. But you need to have it with the right person at the right time, framed in the right way. First, the right person. This is where people often make a massive political mistake. They go to the senior partner or the office managing partner because these people have influence, but they skip their direct line manager. Big mistake. One of the partners on my panel told me about the people who came to talk to them about their career before they'd gone to their local leader or a direct line manager. Without having the conversation locally first, it didn't land well with their line manager. They felt bypassed and that damaged the relationship. The very person who's going to be starting to recommend you for promotion and partnership. His advice, remember where your bread is buttered. Go to the most natural first place. If your direct reporting line is someone specific, go to them first. Have the conversation. Then maybe say, I'd like to also get the office managing partner's view. And they'll probably say, of course, go for it. Second, the timing. Don't wait until you're so overwhelmed that you're about to hand in your notice. Have the conversation when you first realise things are now unsustainable. Your partners would much prefer to have that conversation early than discover too late that you've been suffering in silence. Third, how you frame it. This is critical. Don't make it about you being too busy. Frame it around what's best for the firm and your partnership case. Instead of, I'm too busy for the social committee, try, I want to make sure I'm being focused with my time so I can deliver the strongest partnership case possible. I'm currently involved in X, Y, and Z. Given my utilisation needs to be at A% and building my practice in B area, which of these commitments would you suggest I focus on which might I need to step back from? Notice what you've done there. You've positioned yourself as very much the firm citizen, but commercial and focused on the firm needs. You're asking for guidance, not permission. You're treating your career progression as if it matters to the firm, because it does. So what often happens next? Now, here's what's interesting about this conversation. You might go in thinking you need to drop the social committee, but in the conversation, a line manager might say, actually, the social committee is really visible now. What about stepping back from the pro bono project instead? You end up dropping something different than what you expect, and that's fine. The point isn't to control the outcome. The point is to drop some of your responsibilities before you break. So the real answer to, should I say yes or no? So here's the real answer to the firm citizenship dilemma. Say yes to more things than feels comfortable, but not so many that you break. And when you hit the breaking point, have a conversation early with the right person framed around the firm's interests. So, being a good firm citizen isn't about saying yes to everything until you collapse. It's about being really careful and purposeful with your commitments and having honest conversations when something needs to change. Now, if you're thinking that makes sense, but I need help actually having these conversations and managing my time better, that's exactly what our course, How to Make Time for Business Development, addresses in the Progress to Partner Academy. We've even got a recorded masterclass on having difficult conversation. But the How to Make Time for Business Development gives you practical frameworks for managing competing priorities and having difficult conversations with your workload. We've also got some great videos on navigating politics and learning how to say gracefully no to partners. Now, if you're unsure where to focus your efforts or which commitments actually matter for your partnership case, start with our free partnership readiness assessment. It takes about 12 minutes and it gives you an instant report showing exactly what key indicators you need to focus on. This helps you make the right decisions about where to invest your time. Now, I popped a link to the Partnership Readiness Assessment and our Progress to Partner Academy directly in the show notes for this episode. Also in the show notes, you'll find links to my books, Poise of Partnership and How to Make Partners Still Have a Life, so you can easily find them on Amazon. And as a thank you for listening, there's also a link for a 10% discount on annual membership for our Progress to Partner Academy using the code podcast10. Now, that's all for this episode of the How to Make Partner podcast. What's your action for this week? If you're stretched too thin with being a good firm citizen and all of those non-chargeable commitments and responsibilities, identify who you need to have a conversation with. It'll almost definitely be your direct line manager, and it might need to be some other people. And then book time with them this week. Don't wait until you're on breaking point. Have the conversation now, framed around delivering on your business case and personal case. Now, if you've enjoyed this episode, please leave us a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, or give us a comment on Substack. This helps us get the word out to others who may need this advice. Remember to hit subscribe so you don't miss next week's episode. Thanks for listening.